Welcome to Wikelo Emporium on Dasi Station. One of the first things you're going to notice is that Wikelo really likes to show himself and show his personality, and it starts right when you land in the giant retrofitted self-land hangar, which can fit an 890 jump. And he is very talkative, and he is a very interesting person, at least on hologram so far. Now, as you've noticed, he's not a person, he's a Banu. And it is the first speaking Banu in the game, and in the lore, it's very interesting. He has a history with UEE and across the Empire, and he has now moved to the Stanton system, and he has 3 different stations. This tour that you're going to see later in this video, you can use chapters to jump ahead, is more to get the point across of what it's like at his station. And the music you are hearing is new to my knowledge. I'm going to put it at the end of the video in its entirety without me talking over it. You can use the chapters to grab that as well. So, first things first, the station itself is a hangar. It is basically a set of stairs. You go upstairs from the XL hangar, and there it is. It seems like there are 4 at a minimum hangars on each one of the stations. If one station is really bopping outside and you're worried you might have some treachery going about from players or NPCs, simply go to another of his 3 stations. And here are the locations. So you have Kinga at Microtech, and then you have Dasi at Hurston. And then finally, we have Selo at Crusader. So they're spread out across the Stanton system in 3 different places. Each hangar, I would assume, has access to Wikelo. Try not to think about it too much is kind of the emphasis, I think, with this. But when you land in any of them, you're going to end up with this rock area here. And I'm going to show you how I made entry. So I hit tab and I'm using the scan button to highlight all the rocks, because sometimes in the shadows and such you can have a rock that's not really visible, mostly because the game still doesn't have night vision when you're flying. So you hit the tab button and that highlights everything in sight. You can note the radar lock I have from a affectionate player, I guess, just nervously checking. I believe it turned out to be a Hornet when I'm going to land. He's a little closer. And I have no qualms in wool. There could be a Polaris sitting here and I would not care. And an 890 jump. It's essentially a defensive combat frigate nowadays, with its 7 PDS turrets and a lot of shields for anything else that tries to chew on it. So when you go to come in, you start a little lower if you use my route, and then you go up top. And over these rocks, and kind of an awkward angle, you'll see where I'm going. Note the proximity alarms, and you'll see a proximity collision alert at the top there. Don't sweat it. The rocks are awfully close to your sides, but just keep hitting F4 and go into the advanced camera, and you'll be there. These are 4 of the hangars. When I hailed Wikelo Emporium, what happened was Wikelo himself, he talks to you and he gives you like a little bit of a, I'm not sure, something was amiss, don't know.
So sorry. I think comms issue, but you want to land. Wait a bit. Go, land, please.
And there he goes. So, it reminds me a little bit of Levski, where they're really relaxed.
Go. Bring ship in.
And he tells you to bring your ship in. He assigns you one of these hangars, and it is assumed, obviously, that it's an instance, and you and your party mates can all kind of go into that one hangar. But as long as no one else follows you into the hangar, it's just you and them. It is a combat area, which kind of surprised me. I didn't know what to expect. First of all, it's a brand new type of station, kind of made for him, and a retrofitted self-land giant XL hangar. And you go inside, and there's this huge hologram of him. So the Banu are pretty interesting folks. They obviously are an alien race. They do their own thing. This one is very accustomed to humans. He does mention his Soli, which is their version of like an extended family / group of friends that kind of all work together. And while obviously their physiology is vastly different than ours, and their language skills of changing over aren't that great, they are very good at making deals, and that's what they love to do. They're traders, they're merchants. Some of their stuff is questionable by what UE standards are, and that stuff is kind of, I'm sure, not going to happen here in the Stanton system, but who knows if he expands to Pyro or one of his friends is over there, they might have slightly questionable missions if you accept them. So, you know, the unregistered type of contracts and some really, you know, crazy bounty hunting type thing of humans alive. If you notice, there is these large holograms, and the reason for these being here is because you have to deliver them to the cargo area that is here. So your cargo elevator, if you bring these things in and you deposit them in, my understanding is that you deposit the cargo into the elevator, then you will get that attributed to you, and that is my understanding. There are additional explanations up when you get up there where you trade specific things like horn tooths off of copions and things. And you don't have to kill copions to get those, but you would have to request them from an org mate or a friend to go get them for you or put them in chat. I guarantee you there will be people trying to sell those horns for a lot of UEC as this goes on, but they might be across the system at a different location, different emporium. But if you're willing to go get the copions or whatever resource off an animal yourself, you'll probably do very well here. I have a sneaking feeling that certain people that enjoy the hunting kind of limited workflow will do that for most people and take advantage of it. By the way, the music from this area is brand new. It is very good. I'm going to leave a chapter in for the end where I'm not talking, he's not talking, and we can you can hear it in what I think is the entirety of it, but there may be multiple tracks and I am not aware. So if you end up hearing more in the future, that's how it is. But yeah, the Banu, at least in Wikelo's example, are extremely talkative. And this is our first taste of that. Now, spoiler alert, you will not see him in the flesh, so to speak. But when we go upstairs, you will see where I believe that he will be. It's clearly set up to be like a seated area to make trades. And the Banu kind of they surround themselves with good things of status symbols and things to sell and attract trade, and they want you to be comfortable, and it's clearly that's what it's set up to be. A lot like when the merchantman was being worked on, the BMM has an entire room devoted just to trade that overlooks the trade hall, the trade cargo area, so it makes a lot of sense. They're also very big, so it makes sense that the area is big. We're going to get to that in a minute though. There's a few little bits of pieces here, but I think some of the first things people ask is right here. You can pause the video if you'd like, and you can see the 5 cave copion horns. Note that it says cave. There's different copions now, so you might have 50 tundra copion horns, but they will not help you get this right here. You have to trade those items in, those specific items. And this is me checking the Moby glass because it says check Moby, and then I find the initial contract. Now, before you fly here, if you made it this far in the video, I hope so, see that new to system contract? Accept it, and note it's very simple. A burrito, a Pips Q66, I think that's the yellow or the green one, and then 3 of the Tundra Copion horns, which are the easiest to get, at least for me anyway. You head over to Microtech to the green areas and you fly around, and you take care of it. There's going to be tons of guides, I'm sure, that will explain that a little bit better, but you can note that there's different ones. So I would come over with those items if possible. To he put the Maruk bird display backwards, like so when you're coming up the steps looking backwards, you might see it, but yeah, I thought this was kind of funny. Under the Xeno threat armor display he has, there's bags of salt underneath the Selo threat armor set, which is great. So we don't know where the Banu came from, but they do have their own protectorate. They have their own area. They do move around, and the BMM essentially is their home. This is one of the first Banu that we've been exposed to that has an entire set of space stations, but in theory it's one space station, as if you want to really think of it that way, that basically is just his, apparently. And he's taken over the entire landing locations and such. And it's pretty interesting. I alluded to earlier that some of the stuff they do is not great. So, for example, they have been rumored to work with the Vandul, at least some of the Solis. And remember what I said at the beginning, Solis are groups of Banu that all kind of do their own thing together. They're like an extended family / trade group, and that's what's most important to them. So, yeah, it's pretty interesting. The Banu Protectorate in general, we probably won't be there for a very, very long time. So being able to see this is really, really nice. And these are in his workplace. You'll note the katana. This is what you've probably heard in Discords and Reddit and such. They are here. I don't know if you can get your hands on them. They are in a locked case currently. And you'll note the Banu and the other alien knives there, Tavaran knives, that kind of thing. And then you see the human knives, everything from a spoon on the right to a shiv on the left, and then some finer blades in the middle of different degrees of style and tacticalness and utility, like the box cutter, for example. It's very, very practical. You'll note that he has like every coffee maker in the game as a display coming up, and a classic Big Benny's vending machine, and these flowers, these alien flowers. Some of these displays are old. This is the year of the roosters, years and such. These are things that are part of the lunar / Chinese New Year celebrations, and they are given away for free every year. So you can see here all the coffee machines, and that's basically the one that you would see when you go to ArcCorp and the areas where they have the large events when it comes to ArcCorp, and they've started to put them in other places too. I mean, they're all over the place now. These are all the other coffee machines, some of them from your Hab, some of them from ships. And I especially like this top Finley right here. That's like a stuffed Finley that's not realistic, it's cartoonish. I have some friends I can imagine would really appreciate this. And then the serious Finley in the middle. And then like a snowboard or a hoverboard, I guess, from Microtech. And you'll see a module just hanging out here. Possibly a shield generator. I hope my street cred is maintained. It might not be, but I'm pretty sure it is. It's either a shield generator or cooler. And then you can see a little bit of dev humor here on these cleaning devices. You can hear some of the audio glitching. Yeah, I'm going to turn this down a little bit, the audio in the background. So, but you can see how they fold inside the mopping surface, so they can make a futuristic mop. And it says on the description that such a simple thing, yet it's so complicated. That I believe is the devs basically pointing out, when you actually have to model something like that can fold and legitimately look like it's good to go and be secured together and attached, can add up to a lot of parts and bits and pieces and textures. Inside, you can see all sorts of crazy little things. I think they're the pyro, what are they, raff rats or something? You get them on a stick currently. And then the little ball creatures. And a hat. And as it notes here, that's his favorite Pips. That's the first drink he had when he was in the UEE. So in general, I feel like the entire space is perfect for him. They've nailed it down. And, oh, by the way, here's a brand new setup, the Parallax energy rifle with a really cool paint on it that is 3D paint, I guess you'd call it, because it has a giant tooth strapped to the side. I think this is going to be a very popular piece for a lot of people to go get. And like I said, the tooth is strapped to the side. It's a really neat setup. And I think it's going to be the hardest thing is going to be people camping like Jacalium and all that other weird stuff to make it. The Marak pearls is pretty easy. Those birds are boids, so their AI is just one for an entire group. They're not very intelligent. This is some of the cool stuff from the bar citizens. So you have the Thulu disc on the left, the Banu box on the center, and then you have the display box on the far right, the transceiver. These were displays that were handed out. You get like a free card when you go to the bar citizens. So if there's a CIG person there or CIG sent them, always remember to check if you show up at a bar citizen, because it's free little nice to have. Someday you'll put it in your hangar and have, it's a nice little thing to put there. So this is Manchester, obviously very sci-fi. If you recall, one of their biggest facilities now is the Manchester site. The CIG there has a large setup. So that's in the future. And here is where you would meet our friend. So our new friend Wikelo is set up, I believe, right here. I believe he stands here to give you your missions. And then in theory, you're supposed to sit on that seat. That's what I think is going on. As you can see, it is a display area. It is deep into the other side of the small, I guess you'd call it, warehouse that he's made out of this area. And it is quite nice. I do not think that Wikelo will be aggressive unless you're aggressive to him. You can, at this moment at least, pull a weapon out. I think if you do that, that is a bad decision in this place. I assume he has some sort of defenses that will be mounted, or defensive guards. On the BMM, there is a size 1 turret that's sitting on the top of the... as of the gray box, at least, there was a defensive turret that's at the top of the multi-story merchant area. So where all the little stores are, there's like a balcony, and then above that balcony is a turret just chilling on the roof, which is a wonderful way to control shoplifting, I suppose. It's a little over the top, but whatever. And I would not be shocked if behind one of these goofy curtains or crazy displays there's some sort of automated turret. I would not try it unless you see somebody else get away with it on a video or something. Or you don't care about your gear and the ship that's sitting inside his station. So anyway, this is, I believe, where you're supposed to sit when you get in here. And all 3 stations again are the same. And that is kind of where I'm at with it right now. It's truly wondrous. Some of these samples that they show, that the core samples that they pulled out of the ground, some of this stuff is kind of interesting. It's like trip down memory lane. Some of this is brand new, or maybe it was sitting in the files and they just kind of grabbed it because they thought, what would he be interested in collecting? Or what do we have available that is clean enough and not going to crash clients when they run it. These little Nova tanks, the Carrack in the background, models. And then, of course, the traditional models, your Tatsuo, the Constellation, and your 300i, and then you got a little model of the Starfarer as well. Very cool. This book, Fairy Tale Adventures, I don't remember it, but it's neat. It would be kind of neat also if he's not just selling like random weapons and armor and upgrades to weapons. Mostly it's upgrades to weapons and armor, and then of course ship upgrades too.
Yes. Solid, but also fun to make.
But what I'd like to also see is them do like some sort of sale here where you can do business with him and then he'll sell you some of these items. Obviously not the item off the floor, but a copy of it. And it can appear in the cargo down below. You can load your ship with it and decorate your hangar. Like I love those hologramic palm trees. I think stuff like that's so cool. Be neat to be able to deploy those off that disc, for example. Put like a pair of those in your inside your hangar. And what I like about the hologram part of it, there's the classic Big Bennies, and then to the right is the regular one that's more common. It would be really neat to see the ability for you to run hologram type stuff, especially for your hangar, because then your ship won't crash into it. So you can put that in unique places, like right where you want to land is like a marker and such. Or you could put it outside your outpost, and once again, your buddies won't smash into it trying to come in on a dark night, that kind of thing. So it would be nice to see those type of things come together. And also, I mention as well, Big Benny's machines. They were given away to subscribers at one point, and you can't buy them anymore. You can't get them. You can't use those ones. I want them in game. I want to be able to buy them or steal them, whatever. Make it a mission. Make it a contract, and be able to put them in the hangar. Because if I can put that in my hangar, or even better, my ship, but let's not get into that. If I can put it at least in my hangar, then I can use it to keep subsistence. I don't have to keep running and getting more and more food and stockpiling snack bars and such, just doing work around my hangar. Like, that would be really nice to have that type of thing in place, especially for smaller, or for like small to medium orgs too. It'd be nice to be able to, hey, everybody hang out over here. We're gonna get going in a few minutes, and somebody takes a little longer than anticipated, and everybody's standing there for 20-30 minutes, chatting and everything. Then the groups keeps disappearing like a herd of cats because they need to go get drinks, they need to go get food, they need to go get this. It's like, no, just stay here. I've got the resources, I've got the vending machines, and they could have it so it charges the player that owns the place, so UEC, and make it so it only can do like 10 every 20 minutes or something, 10 deploys. Something like that would be nice, and that would be a huge boon to the player community. So yeah, interesting stuff. It's a preview of Songs to Come. Really interesting place. If you can get inside, you're perfectly safe. You can go solo to this if you have a big enough ship or a quick enough ship. If it's a little too hot for you, just literally fly to another one. As you saw, the only thing that's going to limit you is if like you're in a Pisces or something else that just got nerfed on its fuel for 4.1. So be sure to check your fuel if you're going to have to move around a couple places, or just bring a longer range ship, and you'll be fine. Really neat place. Cool set of stations. I look forward to trying out these contracts and a mix of different circumstances, gameplay loops to get what you want. And I leave you with this. Thank you all for sticking around with me. To my long-term subscribers, thank you so much for being here. Do me a favor, if you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so. Take care. Happy 4.1, everyone.